Hello, welcome to my bookshelf, and today I thought it would be kind of fun to share with you 25 bookish facts about myself. So let's get started. And the first fact that I have for you is that most of the books that I own, I haven't actually read yet. So most of the books you see on my shelves, haven't read. Haven't read, haven't read, haven't read, haven't read, have read, haven't read, haven't read, haven't read, have read, haven't read, haven't read, haven't read, haven't read. So as you can tell, not the best percentage of read to not read. The next fact I have for you is that I do not own an e-reader. And because I already have so many physical books that I haven't read yet, I have no interest as of right now to actually get one. The next fact that I have for you is that my least favorite genres are probably romance and fantasy. Now, that being said, it's not like I won't read any books that fit in this genre, but just that those tend to be the books that I'm the least excited about, and there's only a handful in those that I'm really, really excited about, but overall, as a whole, not my cup of tea. But like I said, I'm pretty open to reading almost anything if I've heard good reviews about it. I'm pretty open to expanding my horizons, even if it is a book that I wouldn't typically read. Okay, so the next fact that I have for you is that, if I counted correctly, I own 27 books written in German. So I took German in high school, and I even got to visit for 2 weeks, which is why I have such a warm spot in my heart for German, and which is why I have so many German books. And if you're interested in seeing some of my German books, you can check out the video in the description below, and you will see lots of great books. Like this one, which is the German version of the Hunger Games. Very different from the American version, but still super cool. The next fact that I have for you is that I have way more books than I have room on my bookshelves. I think this is a common problem, but it's definitely one that I've had for a long time. I just have stacks of books just randomly throughout my house, because I don't have room for them on my bookshelf, which is why I try to get a little creative and put some of them sideways and in front of other ones. But I still have piles of books that don't fit. And the next fact that I have for you is just a little bit about how I organize my books. So I have 2 bookshelves that are as tall as this one. The one that you can't see has all my spiritual books on it. This has a lot of different things. So the first 3 shelves are fiction. Then I have this random nonfiction, just things that don't fit anywhere else. And then I have my memoirs on the bottom. And then this shelf right here, as you can probably tell, is basically my fandom shelf, if you will. So I have Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, my manga, and my German collection. Okay, so the next fact that I have for you is going to require a prop. So I decided to use Divergent, just for fun. And so basically the premise of this is just that I hate ending on a chapter that looks like this, and I love to end on a chapter that looks like this. I just love it when a chapter begins on a new page instead of having like remnants of the last chapter in there. I just don't like that. It's just a weird thing about me. So the next bookish fact that I have for you is that I currently have 2 books that are signed by the author. This one's Brad Thor for Blacklist. And I also have Jason Everett for St. John Paul the Great. And I also have a book that's signed by the teacher that gave it to me, which is The Book Thief. So shout out to Mrs. Harkness, you're the best. So the next fact I have for you is that back in high school, I would spend a lot of time at our local library, and I would literally check out 20 books, so it was really hard to actually get it to the counter. And then the sad thing about that is that I would check out all these books and I would read maybe half of them. I would start all of them. I wouldn't actually finish most of them, which is really sad. And so that tendency has turned into my book buying habits, where I buy way more books than I ever intend to actually read in the current moment. But the nice thing about owning books is that I have plenty of time to actually pick them up and read them. And the next fact that I have for you is that I read a lot of books at the same time, which is why I checked out 20 different books at the same time, because I just like to read a little bit from one book and then read a little bit from another book, just for some variety. And it is really nice for me to not like confine myself to only reading one book. I would find that just so constricting and overwhelming. I like the freedom of being able to pick up any book that I just feel like reading in that present moment. And I know a lot of people find that kind of weird, but to me, I see it the same way as the fact that we're all watching like 1,000 different shows at the same time. You watch a couple episodes here and there, but you don't confuse them. I mean, unless they have very similar plots for some reason, they're distinct and different, so there really isn't an issue, at least for me, to keep them separate from each other. The next fact that I have for you is that I love updating my progress on Goodreads. Just seeing that progress bar move up just gives me so much joy, and I love it. It's almost like a race. It's really, really exciting. And I've also noticed through that I tend to like slowly inch my way forward, and then like the last maybe third of the book, I'll just read it all in one sitting. So I'll go from like maybe 70% to finished. The next fact that I have for you is that I love the look of hardcovers, but I would much rather read a softcover book. The next fact I have for you is that I do judge a book by its cover. Because I get most of my books at Goodwill, the cover makes a big difference. I don't know pretty much anything about the books I get at Goodwill usually. I mean, sometimes I get lucky and I find a book that I've been really interested in there, but most of the time, these are books I've never heard of. And so the cover and just the title of the book on the spine makes a really big difference on whether I'm actually going to even pick it up to see if I even want to read it. The next fact I have for you is that I hate mass market paperbacks. I just don't like the format of it. They're just so thick, and the font usually is kind of small, and it just doesn't look very nice on your shelf, and they're just, I mean, I get them because they're cheap and I want to read it, but I mean, after I'm done reading it, I'm just gonna unhaul it, and if I really, really like it, I'll just buy a better copy of it. The next fact I have for you is that I hate when you're reading a book and the spine is broken, and every time you open it up, it goes to the same page. It drives me nuts. I hate that. It ruins the book. I mean, I kind of want to get a new fifth Harry Potter book because the spine has been broken since the day I got it. My parents did not check for broken spines when they picked this up for me. The next bookish fact I have for you is that I, one, hate it when books you get have writing in it, even if it's just underlying. I mean, underlying's okay, it's not the worst, but I just don't like having writing in my book. And I personally would never write in a book. I would never dog-ear the pages. I want it to be in pristine condition, and writing in it just ruins it for me. To me, it's similar to having a broken spine. It's like the book is just not whole anymore. And kind of going along with that last fact, because I don't write in books, but I do want to remember things about the book, especially since I'm doing book reviews now, I have just started putting tabs in my books. I'm reading this currently, and as you can see, I've started it, so I put lots of different tabs in here, and that just kind of helps me remember things that really stuck out to me, either good, bad, interesting quote, just anything that really just jumps out. As of right now, I don't really have a color-coded system. It's just whatever color happens to be nearest me when I am reading the book. So maybe one day I will advance to meaningful tabs. As of right now, they're just tabs. The next fact that I have for you is that I love the idea of writing a book, but I never actually write. So this probably is not going to actually happen, but I would love to write a book one day if I ever get super inspired and actually practice writing for once. The next fact that I have for you is that I absolutely love to listen to music while I read books. And in fact, for the longest time, if it was too quiet, that bothered me. Like, I hate going to libraries to actually, like, sit down and read because it's too quiet in there. You could hear a pin drop. It just puts me on edge. Music just relaxes me, and it just puts me in a good place. I don't want it blasting, but I want it so I can hear it. It's kind of background noise, and it's just kind of soothing, and sometimes you get really lucky, and the song choice is perfect for the page that you're on. The next fact for you is that On average, I tend to read about a page a minute. So the only mangas that I have ever actually finished the entire series is Death Note and Fruits Basket. And Fruits Basket is actually the only manga that I actually own. I own all 23 books in this series and I absolutely love it. So far anyway, it's my favorite manga. It's just so cute and it's also very dark, very heartwarming, very serious. There's like a lot of contradictory themes in it, but it's just done really well. Let's see, the next fact I have for you is that I never buy a full price book. In fact, I don't think I've ever bought a book that was full priced. So I pretty much get my books either at Goodwill, rummage sales, Amazon, Book Outlet, thrift books, half price books, anything that I can get a deal on books. And the next fact I have for you is that other than Harry Potter, the first book that I ever reread was House of the Scorpion by Nancy Farmer. It follows our main character Matt, who finds out that he's a clone, and so we follow from his earliest memories until his adolescence. We really just get to see him growing up. So the next fact I have for you is that I love books about random topics. And so I thought I would show you an example of this, and that would be The Inevitable, which is basically an anthology where contemporary writers just write about death. I just like the unique concept of this book, and I just had to get it. And kind of going along with that fact is that I absolutely love books written in a unique way. And in fact, I really don't even really care what the plot is. I just want to read it because it's written in an unusual way. And a good example of what I mean by this is Illuminae. No surprises there. If you don't know, it's written in like IMs, text, confidential messages, pretty much just anything that they wanted to throw in there. It's just a really fun format of a book, and I just love that. And I honestly don't know what this book is about, and I just had to get it. Alright, so those are 25 bookish facts about myself. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed coming up with these facts and sharing them with you. So please let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and until next time.